Alright, guys, it is that time again. We got patch notes, my favorite. Alright, we're going to go through this. A lot more patch notes than last time, so I'm going to try to go through them a little bit faster, so it's not like a 4-hour long Purge covers Dota 2 patch notes video, or whatever. So yeah, first off, 1,000,000 copies sold. Absolutely amazing job. There's so many games that I play or have played that are really good, but kind of niche, and they only can get like at most a couple thousand people playing at a time. Mordhau has fucking crushed it, and it's awesome. So great job. All right, they added a lot of new content to this patch, so we'll go over the content first. First up, Crossroads, new frontline map. It's very fun. Probably my favorite. I'll play it a bit more, so I'll know for sure. But it's super fun. It's different in that there's literally just one middle objective, and both teams are trying to fight. It's like this treehouse that you got to get on top of, and there's a bunch of high-rise, thin platforms that we're fighting on. So it really shakes up the gameplay to quite a bit. Super fun. Fire bombs are really good. And putting on barricades and all this stuff, it kind of changes. So I quite like that. It changes up the gameplay, and it's super fun. They added the mortar, which seems like it'd be really strong, but for whatever reason they put it in the dumbest possible, like the most useless spot possible in the map. I haven't seen anyone get a kill with it yet, unless they're like shooting at the wall next to them and fucking blow themselves up and maybe kill an enemy that was next to them. So the mortar seems like it'd be really good, but you can't really use it yet. Hopefully, I would hope they change it a bit, maybe make it kind of a side objective, so you want to go for the main thing, but there's this mortar that's a very valuable resource that you want to have access to in control. I don't know, but it's cool. It's just not super useful on this map, so hopefully in the next map, whenever they add siege or whatever, it'll be even more useful. Now we have 2 new weapons, one of which I've been wanting for since the game came out because I knew people would love it, but they added 2, both great. First off, we have the Javelin. Basically, and I think they have the same damage profile. I'd have to double check, but you have 2 throwing spears. You can't actually throw them. Sorry, you can't actually use them in melee, but you can just throw them. You have 2 of them, so they have an ammo count of 2, and they cost 3 points. Pretty good. A little hefty for like, a little hefty in the price department, just for having only 2 projectiles you can throw at a time. But they're just really good. Like, and they're so fun. It's so fun just to jump up and like dunk some guy, throw a javelin right into their fucking face. Or just like just slide it over your teammates and like on those like short pathways and crossroads and just hit some guy in the back line of the fucking head. Super fun. Love the Javelin. A lot of people like it. Great change. Great new addition. Awesome. Next up we have I believe it's the heavy hand axe. Yes. It's for 3 points. Essentially pretty similar to the regular axe, but the alternate mode is a mallet, so a building hammer, whatever. For my engineer, I used to have a toolbox, and then I would have a mallet and an arming sword for 3 points. Now I can have now for 3 points I can have the mallet and a worse weapon, but it's in one slot. So that means I can take some extra utility if I want to. I can grab like a smoke bomb to cover me while I'm building. I can do bandages, whatever I want. Really good. So very much like these 2 additions. They're new weapons. They fit a place that wasn't already properly filled. So great. They've done some weapon. Now we're getting on to the changes. Also, Steam cards are now out, so we all got 330 cents. That's great. New cosmetics. Apparently, you could family share to get around being banned, which they now fixed with this patch, which is great. Didn't know that was a thing, but it's awesome. Let's get right into gameplay. So, added all the new stuff we just talked about. Various painted plate chest variants, which is cool. I'll have to go through them. Taiga balance. I'm actually not sure what this is. Sorry, so I'll have to go look that up. But Taiga is probably one of the most like one-sided maps in the game. It's very heavily red-sided. Blue can occasionally win if they get the first point and the other team's pretty incompetent, but red has definitely a clear advantage. Good. Toolboxes can no longer place structures in spawn areas. We've all seen the fucking videos where people are putting spikes or barricades and stuff in like Mountain Peak or whatever. It was funny the first time. It's not funny anymore. I'm glad they're getting rid of this. It was fucking dumb. Same with traps. Players that leave the game during vote kick now cause it to automatically pass. I guess people were leaving, and even though that doesn't get you out of the vote kick, people weren't voting yes for you because you're already gone. So I guess that's why they made that change, which is fine, I guess. It's a little annoying when some salty person's gonna vote. I'm sure it's gonna happen at some point when some salty kids just want to vote QQ for a dumb reason, and it's at the time when you want to leave. But it's whatever. It's whatever. Capture and neutralizing points now gives more points. Toolboxes and structures no longer. That's good that playing the objective is now worth a little bit more. Toolbox structures no longer bump the player between building stages. Funland, which I assume is like some new map. I don't own a server, unfortunately, so I can't test it out. I should go look at that, but go check out for what Funland is. And then added a carrot. Made a video yesterday about the carrot. Go ahead and look that up if you want to find out where the carrot is. Combat. Holding block shield now automatically bring the block back up upon getting hit. This is great, especially when like a horse would drive by everyone and your shield will be down, and then you're just gonna get an executioner sword to the face. I really like this. I know they're kind of doing a bit of a backpedal on what they did for shields. They're not backpedaling it, but they're just slightly reining in just a little. So the backpedal speed is buffed. The block volume now slightly easier again, and then the kick range, which is shield reduced, is slightly. So that way there was a bit of phantom range before, I feel like, and now it's slightly increased. Still gonna be much better than the regular kick, so it's good. I like that they reined it in just a little. Shields are still bad, excuse me, but they fill a place, so I like that. Glancing blow damage reduced even further, down to 10%. Glancing blow now easier to trigger by 5 degrees. Naked and light armor movement speed is now faster. It's still a good idea to have heavy armor, so I like that they're buffing the naked and light armor a little bit. Fixed light horse movement desync. Horses bump now slow down the horse slightly more. This is great. I don't know exactly how strong it is. This is a change I've been wanting for a while for horses. Basically, what this means is if you're gonna drive through a bunch of players and your horse is hitting all of them, you're gonna get slowed down. It's gonna make you easier to get hit. This means you can't make those just fucking YOLO charges and you'll never get knocked off your horse because it's a lot of people struggle or just aren't paying attention and you're just gonna go forever. So this slows that down. This reduces the ability to do that a bit. You have to now be a bit more smart with your horse placement. Great change. Great to see horses getting slightly tweaked back. Horses now take slightly less fire damage, is fine. Easy parry, stamina gain increased by 5. Longbow arrow projectile speed buffed. Longbow draw slightly faster, but the reload is slower. This is definitely a buff. The speed is great. The projectile speed is great. But even though your rate of fire will be the same, you're getting the part of the bow that you want to be faster, which is the draw time, is now faster. So I think that line is still a buff, even though their fire rate's the same. Crossbow damage against armored torso is buffed. Armored is 3 points, medium is 2, and then light is 1, and naked 0 for the patch notes. Recurve bow draws slightly faster, and recurve bow arrow speed increased very slightly. I don't know why it says arrow speed and the other one says projectile speed. I assume it's the same thing. Recurve bow can now partially sprint during draw, reload, and release. This is awesome. I love these changes. I said archery needs a buff, and that's what they're doing here. And not only they're buffing archery, they're just tweaking it, giving people a bit of an advantage. They're also buffing the defined features of the 3 bows, which now gives you more of a reason to use each one. They're now even more defined. So I absolutely love these changes. Super good. Improved jump swing on all ranged weapons. Didn't know that was a thing, but it's reduced. Don't usually jump very often. Huntsman perk cost reduced to 1. This is like the one change I don't like. I still don't like Huntsman perk. I think it should be worked. I think it just causes archers just to go after the other archers, and then they're not really participating in the front line all that much. I'd rather the Huntsman perk give you maybe like a zoom in, or maybe it does a lot of stamina damage or stops you from sprinting or something. And so if you're in the middle of a fight and you get hit by an arrow with Huntsman, not only do you just take some damage, but you're got a debuff that's gonna put you in a bad spot. I would think something like that would be a bit more fun. It would make archers fit into the game better instead of just them sniping each other all game, or most of the game. Ranger perk cost reduced to 1. This is fine though. Ranger is fine, and now you can either, instead of going just Huntsman, you can go Huntsman and Ranger. You can now also, it's easier to, it's easier to actually go a 3 armor chestplate, and I don't know if a 3 armor chestplate will let you survive some of the bows in the chest against Huntsman, but we'll have to see. So, but whatever. Leg damage increased across the board. Not so much for armored legs, but a lot more for the naked and tier 1 legs. I think this is a good change. A lot of people are skipping leg day, including me, especially when I'm using Bloodlust or Dodge. Uh, and so this just gives you more of a reason to get leg armor, which is probably the most skipped piece of the armor. And if you're fighting someone, you now want to definitely pay attention to, do they have leg armor, what kind of weapon I use, so that adds a bit more depth to the game, a bit more reason to get some things that probably weren't being picked up as often. Good change. Active stab releases reduced slightly on the following weapons: halberd, spear, billhook, barbershade, alt mode. Poleaxe, evening stars, Y-hander main mode. That's fine. The barbershade alt mode is important because there's a big change to that later. Halberd alt mode start wind up speed increase 25 milliseconds. Halberd stab damage versus plate helmet, that's level 3 helmet, reduced to 45. That's fine. Halberd's still going to be super strong. Barbershade alt mode now one shots naked legs. I don't know if this is both the stab and the slash. I assume it's the slash. I don't think the stab does a huge amount of damage. I'll have to double check. But this is great. This means there's a whole new reason why you'd want to switch to the Barbershade over, use the alt mode on the Barbershade. So adds a lot more depth to the game. You're going to have to be paying attention to your opponent's loadout. A good change. Spear main mode stab nailed deals 3 more damage to plate torso, but 3 less to plate head. This is fine. The alt mode is getting nerfed, reduced to the plate helmet to 45 and the medium helmet to 65. Spear alt mode stamina negation increased to 13. Longsword main mode strike release reduced to 25 milliseconds. The one-handed axe combo speed buffed, which is pretty good. I think it's a good buff. One-handed axe strike released increased to 25 milliseconds. I said in my build video that the one-handed axe was way better than the warhammer, but they're reworking the warhammer down below, and I absolutely love the changes. Poleaxe point cost reduced to 6. I thought it was worth 7. I thought it was a decent 7-point weapon. If they're gonna reduce it though, I don't think that makes the weapon OP, so that's fine. Rock point cost reduced to 1. Passive point cost reduced to 1. Pervasive, I don't know how you pronounce that. That is the shield that you place down that you never see anyone ever use, but now it costs 1 point. Excuse me, so maybe people will use it. Executioner sword strike damage versus armored helmets reduced by 5. Executioner sword stab damage reduced across the board. Slight nerf to the Executioner sword, but I think it'll still do what it's great at doing, which is cutting down a lot of unarmored people. Zweihander half sorting buffed. Zweihander stab damage versus plate helmet reduced to 45. Zweihander stab stamina drain reduced to 1. I don't know if it did 50 to the plate helmet before, but if it did, that is a decent nerf because now you can't 2-shot to the head with the stab. Zweihander strike missed stamina cost increased by 1. Grave sorting buffed. I also don't know if all these changes are for the half sword or what. And this is great sorting half sorting buffed, and I don't understand. Like, it doesn't say how, so I wish it did. Sorry, I don't know what those changes mean. Billhook strike release reduced 25 milliseconds. Also, people aren't really using the alternate modes on a lot of their weapons very often. They still happen. So them getting buffed, I think, is usually a good thing. Adds more variety to the game. Billhook strike release reduced 25 milliseconds. Evening Star strike buffed damage against armored head slightly. Evening Star strike release increased by 25. Evening Star main stab damage versus plate helmet reduced to 45, which is still a lot of damage for a level 3 armor and like a weapon that usually the strikes, you want to do more damage on the strikes than the stabs. It's still a pretty good amount of damage. Messer strike now 25-second faster wind up, but more restricted turn cap. I don't know by how much, but it feels like a nerf. You can do some crazy drags and stuff with the Messer, so we'll see. S-Stock strike release reduced 25 milliseconds. S-Stock stab has slightly more damage versus plate, torso. Bastard sword two-handed strike release reduced 25 milliseconds. Bastard sword strike combos 25% faster, which is great. And then slightly more damage versus plate, torso on the stab. Awesome. Like, I love the Bastard sword. If it's gonna get buffed, I'll fucking take it, dude. Now we got onto the Warhammer, which is pretty interesting. Warhammer strikes now 25 milliseconds faster. Warhammer strike damage drain +1. And the interesting part is the alt mode has been reworked. The alt mode can no longer combo, but does crazy damage to the head. This is a great change. Previously, I feel like the Warhammer didn't really have a place. You just used the War Axe instead, or the one-handed axe, whatever you call it. And what they did was they changed like the axe, but they went to the warhammer and they reworked it. Like they put all this effort into reworking it. I mean, it sure didn't take like it sure wasn't like the biggest deal, but great change. Now there's a whole new reason why to use the warhammer. I'll definitely be trying it out on one build at some point. We'll have to see how I work it into something, but maybe some javelins and stuff. But awesome change. Arming sword slightly buffed, just a bit more damage to level 3 armor. I think the arming sword is OP, but so I don't think it needs these buffs, but whatever. Dagger stab damage buff, strike damage nerfed. I believe the stab was already the stronger, more damaging point of the moveset, so this just exemplifies that. Same with the cleaver, but in reverse. Mace wind up speed up to 25 milliseconds. I guess that's a nerf, right? Because the wind up speed is increased, so it takes longer to swing. However, that might also mean you can do better drags and stuff with it. So we'll see how that goes. I think the mace is pretty fun to use, pretty interesting. So I'll have to try it out again. Falchion strike wind up speed 25 milliseconds, same thing. Short spear throw damage, but I feel like the falchion's pretty strong. So that's the strike wind up speed. Excuse me. So that's a little different. Short spear throw damage buff to 50 versus plate torso. Fire damage against structure. I believe that's also right where the javelin is. I think the javelin could 2-tap to level 3 chest armor. Fire damage against, it's either 50 or 55, I don't remember what. Fire damage against structures reduced slightly. So a slight nerf to fire in this patch for horses and structures, which is fine. Fire bombs are very strong. So it's fine. It'd be interesting to see how if they can still completely take down the toolbox structures, because that'd be very important if they can't take it down anymore. We'll have to see how it is. Fixed cave entrance being blocked on Mountain Peak. I didn't go there much, but I think I do remember it being weird, so I'll have to see how it is. They fixed the icicles, guys. They finally fixed the icicles. I've been trying for so long, and I probably should have looked it up to see if they're broken, to figure out how to, I've shot arrows at them, fucking thrown weapons, I've thrown fire bombs, I tried striking them with my weapons. I could not figure out how to get the icicles down. You can finally go and get that achievement to kill someone with an icicle. Great change. Awesome. Alright. Fix an out-of-bound exploit in Grad Dungeon. Fix an out-of-bound exploit on Contraband. Not sure what these exploits are because they don't mention them, but you can see that they're fixed. Visuals and music. They added like 11 new emblems. The held shield block lowering animations are now more snappy and responsive, which is good, so you can better tell when their shield is up and down. Fix the bug with respective third person, which booted the camera to random spot. Yeah, and just some other stuff. Reduced emblem size on the crude plate skirt. This might be one of the plate skirts that people take to try to make them look like they're on the other team. I'm not really sure, which is fucking dumb. So if they're gonna reduce that, that's fine. S-Tech proportion is adjusted. Now, thicker. Mwah. Oh, let me just fix that real quick. All right. Fix fog on a certain aspect ratio is fine. Adjust collision on buildable spike walls so that stairs is easier to get up in weird angles. That's fine. I feel like now you mention it, I had a problem with that, but I can't really be sure. But it's fixed, so whatever. Improve longsword and bastard sword hit sounds. Footstep sounds on enemies, allies increase slightly more. Yeah, sometimes people walk up behind you and stab you in the back and you just don't hear it. So I'm definitely happy about that. That's a very good change. UI. 75 damage now counts as an assist. Or 75 damage assist now counts as a kill. Added client side that chat muted to context menu. That's fine. You can read that to see how it does it. Crosshair dot color turned red when looking at an enemy. It's slightly transparent when looking at an ally. Not the biggest change because you would have like the text, but I guess maybe it's at a further range or something. So happy with that, especially when you're like there's like an archer or some guy on a horse way out and you want to know, hey, is that horse fucker coming to fucking kill me? Or is he just going to run by me? That's important stuff to know, so now you can find it out better without having to have like the team icons toggled on, which is kind of ugly, and I'm not a big fan of doing that. So, good change. Home screen news panel improvements. I think that's the big column on the right when you're in the home screen. Move tutorial access to a new training tab under fight. I'm actually not sure how to get to the training before this. I haven't tried, but now when you're on those things where you see like the three tabs, there's like a fourth one on the right which is training, and then the scoreboard automatically scrolls now, only scrolls as much as you needed, which is nice, so you should be able to see the people at top at almost all times. That's the change. Sorry, I'm kind of under the weather. I just finished my first week of work, and I guess I was working hard, and my immune system might have fallen down a bit. Sorry, so I feel kind of nasally, if I sound kind of nasally. But I just want to say that these are fucking fantastic. Other than the Huntsman perk, which I'm not a big fan of, these are fantastic changes. And like, unlike so many other developers or dev teams, like back in like when For Honor first came out, or something like Dead by Daylight. Oh my god, fuck the people at Dead, and I'm sure like individually they're nice people. The people at the Dead by Daylight, the people on the Dead by Daylight dev team do not know what the fuck they're doing. Like it's a fucking it's a joke, honestly. Like they don't know how to play their game. Like of the 4 or 5 most previous killers that they released, like 3 of them were just garbage and just like unusable, not fun to play or play against anyways. But the reason why I'm saying that is because you can tell that the dev team of this game knows what they're doing. They play the game, they understand it deeply. I'm sure they're listening to the community, especially even though they did some of the changes I suggested. I assume that I listened to be. Excuse me. I'm assuming they're listening to like the veteran players and stuff, and probably just general feedback. Devs are amazing at this game. Even though you can nitpick some of the changes every once in a while, last patch was fucking awesome. This patch is absolutely awesome. They're putting a lot of work into making new content and reworking things, and they're making great balancing changes. Like, and it fucking shows. This is I absolutely love this game. The devs are amazing. And so yeah. So anyways, hands to like a round of applause to the devs. Great job. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the end of the video. If you want to subscribe, feel free to. My goal right now is to hit 100 subscribers. Soon we'll get 1,000. I want to try to get to 100, so because there's some videos I want to make when I hit 100. So if you want to sub for that, appreciate it. Especially because I'm going to keep doing these patch notes videos, and you want to be notified when there's a new patch. So that way you're not like walking in and all of a sudden some crazy stuff has changed. You're like, what the fuck's going on? You can do that, but you don't have to. Do whatever you want. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a nice day.